Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, share the channel, hit that bell notification. Let's not play no games. In a season that's been full of ups and downs, roster shifts, unexpected contributions, and late pushes, the Indiana Fever are starting to show what real growth and belief look like. They're not just fighting for wins, they're crafting an identity. And at the heart of that identity are players like Ari McDonald, Aliyah Boston, and a coach in Stephanie White who's making sure this team isn't just surviving. They're preparing to shock people. When Ari McDonald came into the lineup, it didn't take long for her to make an impact. And what's most impressive, it's not just what she's doing on the court, it's how fast she got here. Ari emphasized her seamless fit with the team, not by accident, but by preparation. She credited her ability to jump right in and contribute to consistent film study, asking the right questions, and deeply studying her teammates' habits and tendencies. It wasn't just about running plays, it was about truly understanding who she was sharing the floor with. That attention to detail allowed her to figure out the right times to push the ball, when to kick out, when to slash to the rim, or step out for the corner three. She didn't need a full training camp, just a committed mind. And that's rare, very rare. So when you see Ari on the court, whether it's initiating a fence or clamping down on the opposing team's lead guard, it's a product of quiet hours in the film room and active hours connecting with her teammates. Her mindset is contagious, and it's helped elevate the whole team. Aliyah Boston, that fourth quarter was a clinic. She started the game with just 5 points, but by the time the final buzzer hit, she had 17, with 12 of them coming in a dominant, energized fourth quarter. But the numbers only tell part of the story. What mattered even more was her confidence, and who she credits for it. Boston gave full praise to her teammates for continuing to believe in her even when the shots weren't falling early. That's the mark of a tight unit. No panic, just poise. She mentioned players like D and Baby stepping up, keeping the momentum going while she found a rhythm. That collective push created the space for her to eventually take over. And once she did, Phoenix had no answer. In the postgame, Boston opened up about how the team didn't flinch when early shots weren't falling. There were missed layups, open threes that rimmed out, and momentum that looked like it might slip away. But the team's resilience showed up big time. The bench became the spark, bringing energy and intensity that translated onto the court. As soon as the outside shots started dropping, the entire offense opened up. It wasn't just about the scoring, it was about offensive energy. You could feel the shift. The ball started moving faster. Players were cutting harder. Communication picked up. And most importantly, belief returned. When Coach Stephanie White spoke post-game, one of the more insightful moments came when she talked about Sophie, likely referencing assistant coach or team leader Sophie Cunningham, as the calm in the storm. During tight moments, it's Sophie who steps into huddles and focuses the group, balancing offensive adjustments and defensive matchups. That kind of composure can't be overstated, especially on a young team like the Fever. And White was clear, that's one of the reasons this team is managing to stay locked in. Whether it's switching up a defensive assignment or drawing up a late game set, that leadership in the chaos is making a difference. Coach White also gave credit where it's due, to her bench players. She specifically praised players like McDonald, who are showing visible growth each game. Their rise isn't just due to talent. It's the result of consistent work in the gym, belief from teammates, and a refusal to back down from self-doubt. These aren't just role players anymore. They're essential to this late-season surge. White pointed out how staying aggressive and engaged, even during quieter moments, has allowed these players to rise up when the team needed a lift. And that mental toughness? That's what separates average teams from playoff contenders. White was honest. This team is still building. But the good news? They're building the right way. She talked about how the Fever are now stringing together wins, showing consistency across quarters, and learning to adapt their offense depending on how the game flows. And the biggest focus heading into the playoff push? Tightening the defense. It's clear the Fever are trying to become more than just a feel-good story. They want to be dangerous. And dangerous teams don't rely on one star to carry the load. They build systems that hold up under pressure. One of the most striking points from White was how Ari McDonald and Bivby, likely referring to Christy Wallace or a nickname for another role player. Weren't even on the Fever roster when the season began. And now, they're key contributors. White praised their ability to absorb the playbook quickly, stay shot ready, and integrate seamlessly into offensive sets. Their addition has brought new dimensions to the team, both in the backcourt and frontcourt. This kind of fast-tracked integration isn't normal. It speaks to the team's culture and the intelligence of the players stepping in. Back to Aliyah Boston, because it's important to highlight what makes her more than just a scorer. White said it plainly, Boston affects the game in so many ways. Whether it's initiating offense, making smart read plays, grabbing key rebounds, or locking down defensive assignments, she's become a full package threat. And what's even more powerful, after a slow start in the game, the coaching staff trusted her enough to insert her into high-value touches in critical moments. That trust matters, and Boston delivered. Dawana Bonner in a classy and heartfelt moment. White gave a nod to Dana Bonner, the returning veteran now with Phoenix. She didn't just speak as a coach, she spoke as a friend. White mentioned her personal affection and admiration for Bonner, celebrating her return to Phoenix and saying it was the right fit for her at this point in her career. It was a reminder that basketball is more than just competition. It's about relationships that last, no matter which jersey you're wearing. Respect like that runs deep. One stat that jumps off the page: 7 different Fever players scored in double figures in this game. Let that sink in. That level of balanced production makes it extremely hard for opponents to game plan. You can't just shut down one player. You can't blitz Caitlin Clark or trap Boston and expect the offense to crumble. Now, there are too many weapons. White celebrated this moment as a proof of concept. This is what a playoff-ready team looks like. Unpredictable, balanced, and dangerous. So here we are, the Indiana Fever. After a rocky start, doubters all around, and constant media noise are turning heads. They're doing it with chemistry, with depth, with a growth mindset, and with a coach who sees the bigger picture. From Ari McDonald's instant impact, to Aliyah Boston's leadership and clutch scoring, to bench contributions, smarter playbooks, and 7 players in double digits. This is a team building for more than just a playoff berth. They're building a new standard. The WNBA better be watching. Because if the Fever keep playing like this, they're not just a team on the rise. They're a team you'll have to go through if you want a crown. If you're loving this kind of deep dive into the Fever's journey, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and tap that notification bell. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Can the Fever pull off a first-round playoff upset? Is Ari McDonald the X factor? And how big is Aliyah Boston's leadership in this stretch run? We're breaking it all down right here, so stay tuned.
Tiptoeing the sideline beautifully here, and Cunningham will take it all the way. As Thomas gets inside. 2 more for Thomas, who's got tied down tonight as Stephanie White's team has won their 3rd straight.
Good, like let's keep being aggressive or just keep taking what the defense is giving.
Ari, you come in from the jump and kind of fit seamlessly with this team. What's kind of been the keys for you to come in and be able to contribute like this right away?
I would say being a student of the game, always watching film, asking questions, and just knowing where my teammates, like the ball, just, figuring out ways for them to be successful on the court.
Aliyah, 17 points in the 4th quarter after 5 in the first week. Just what changed in the 4th quarter? What was your mindset kind of going into those final 10 minutes?
See, all I can say is not as good all the time. I just think the start of the game obviously was rough. Me just missing some easy bunnies, but honestly, my teammates, they do a great job of kind of just staying in my ear and letting me know like you're good. But at the same time, even though I'm missing, like you had Didi come in and hit some big buckets, Baby come in and hit some big buckets. So you can't really worry about the missed shots because I think everyone steps up when it's their time. And honestly, I think that just made everything better because once people start hitting shots from the outside, then everyone's up, everything's high end, and then you just go score.
Or Ari, when we see you guys huddle up every time, it seems like Sophie's making a lot of noise in the huddle. What does she say?
She has
Sophie she's saying.
It's all good information, just, making sure, okay, hey, what do we need in offense? Our matchup defensively. I think she's a voice, calming the storm for us. And she's always, consistent in that area, just talking to us.
What was it like having DeWanna Bonner turn to the end, and what were your thoughts on the fan reception tonight?
Honestly, that got nothing to do with me. I think DB returned because we were playing Phoenix, and so that happened to be that. The fans just do what they wanted to do, but for us, it's about paying attention to what we have to do here, and that was coming in and getting a big win, which we were able to do.
Ari, back to you. Literally not being on a team opening night to now career high today, how have you kind of pushed through any self-doubt or negative emotion this season and continued to play at the level you have? Sure, the summer comes through.
Staying in the gym.
Literally, though.
No, literally.
Not joking.
And walk to the gym at night. But just honestly, staying in the gym and just staying confident. My teammates, they've been talking like, hey, keep shooting the coaches. And so I think tonight I really was like, okay, like this is my time to shine. Everyone's, encouraging me. So it's just, I have to believe. So, just staying in the gym, staying locked in, and just staying aggressive. That's been the key for me.
Aliyah, for a while, stringing together wins is an issue, but now you've won 3 straight for the second time this season. What does it feel like in terms of you guys clicking? And like you were saying earlier, it doesn't matter who has a good quarter, whatever, everybody is kind of stepping up as needed.
Yeah, that's super important for us, especially, the second half of the season now, thinking about, the season coming to an end, thinking about that playoff push. The biggest thing for us is being consistent. We've been saying that all year, and I think this is a good game for us because we went up against a great Mercury team that has hitters from all over the place, and, they have AT running the show. And so for us, just making sure that if we can lock in and hone in defensively on a team that has as many shooters and spacers as they do, then honestly, that's just going to help us in the long run.
That 107, is a big number. We've asked you a lot about offensive fluidity and the growth of that end of the court, but what is just continuing to happen for you guys that this is now your bread and butter, you're winning with scoring every night?
I think our movement with and without the basketball, we're playing baseline to baseline, really, and we're attacking, we're finding the right reads, making the right plays, and letting the ball find the right shot. There were, probably single-digit number of times where the ball stuck or we didn't move it. A lot of those early in the first, and then a couple in the fourth. But for the most part, the ball was really moving and popping, and we were taking care of it after that first quarter a lot better too, and that's important.
Chloe Bibby and Ari both not on the team to start the year, both in double figures today. What have you felt like you guys have done so well as a team to integrate players quickly and be able to have productive nights from them whenever you need it? I
don't know if it's so much us as it is them, and their ability to study the playbook and to really absorb it quickly. We try to limit what we run early when they're on the floor, when they're early in offense. But Ari's a point guard. She's got point guard mentality. She came in knowing more than half of our offensive sets, and with Bibby, she's a stretch 4 and she's a shooter, and we haven't had that. And so when all else fails, just pick and pop. If something happens, just pick and pop. And she's a high IQ player. She understands, how to play, how to make plays. She's shot ready every time, and that's important. And it's also important that our passes are on time, on target to someone who's shot ready all the time. And I think we've been doing a better job with that.
To that point a little bit more about Ari, how important has she been for you guys, especially with Caitlin having a couple of extended absences now?
She's been huge. Ari gives us another player who can get downhill. Her speed was on full display today. Another player who can handle the ball and take some pressure. It's hard to handle the ball 94 feet against extreme pressure. It just is. And Ari gives us a different dimension, a different look than Caitlin gives us. And Sid gives us yet a different look. And so the ability to have a player who can get downhill on days when, Kelsey hadn't had very many days where she hadn't been able to make her way to the rim. But on days like today, when there's one of them, you got another player who can create for herself and others.
Aliyah had 5 points in the first 3 quarters and then 17 in the fourth, and she talked about staying confident throughout that entire game to have that kind of fourth quarter. Just how did the coaching staff encourage her when she was kind of struggling at the beginning to have that kind of explosion?
I think the most important thing with AB is just recognizing that scoring is yes, it's a big part of what she does, but it's not the only thing. And continue to reiterate next play to her and continue to show her the value of the winning plays that she makes. She really is a secondary ball handler for us, initiating offense. She makes the right read and the right play 99% of the time. She gives us size and versatility on the defensive end, more versatility than you would think. And she had a tough matchup tonight with AT. And so, her ability to stay locked in to what was important, to know that her time was coming, to trust that. And I thought we did a better job in the second half of getting her touches in areas that she could be successful.
You talked a little bit about being happy for DeWanna Bonner finding a good spot for her. What was your overall thoughts on having her there in the reception tonight?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know anything about the reception. I don't hear anything once I'm out on the floor. But it's weird seeing her on the other side. But at the end of the day, basketball is basketball and relationships are relationships. And DB is one of my all-time favorites. She has been from afar for a long time, and then working with her for a number of years, she still is. And I care about DB as a person. And the business is the business, but the relationship is the most important thing. And so I'm happy that she found a good landing spot, and a special spot where she started her career. So I'm happy for
her. Are you pretty pleased looking at the diversity of this scoring box score? I mean, you couldn't have counted on 27 from Ari before the game, and you got that, and you had so many people step up at different times all throughout the game. That's got to be satisfying.
It is. I mean, almost 7 in double figures. I think we talk a lot about, we want to be a high assist percentage team. We want to be a well-balanced team. We know we look different without C on the floor, but we're very difficult to scout when we have this kind of balance, and I think it makes us dangerous. And every single player on our roster has gained experience throughout the course of this season, and when one player doesn't have it, another one does and steps up, and that's important. Our depth, while at times can be challenging, it's also one of our greatest strengths, and it pulls us through when we need it.